side job for us. This ain't a hobby. It's our motherfucking life from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep. So we remain unbreakable.
Yeah, this shit's for all of my people who push it to the extreme. We never making excuses and stay pursuing our dreams. We stay evolving and clawing until we break to the top. No matter what we involve in, just know we ain't gonna stop. And yeah, curses, we working until our bodies collapse. And we unearth a new person with all this honor intact. And now it's time for us to level up and get it, son. They think because we hella buzz, we ain't getting up when it's getting rough. Yeah, just know when everything gets difficult, that most of these people live in fold and their hope turns invisible. So go and get them lights up on your Facebook, cause your life sucks. I'll be here with my nights up, but working on this mic, son. This ain't a gimmick, this is Fight Club. And y'all ain't built like us, cause we stay hyped up until the night comes. Throw lefts and rights till that fight's done. You will not decide my fate, no matter how high the stakes. I will not fall, no matter what the time or place, because I was not designed to break. Remain in control. I've been known to ride the waves and climb higher. The sky awaits me. I'll grind away this life till I find a way, and I'll try to my dying day. I'm unbreakable. Now we break through the gates. We ain't taking the scraps anymore. We taking the plate. We take impossible goals and we make them into our fate. Through dedication for laying haters, we lay them to waste and say this is the anthem. So keep your hands up. Find an opening and strike them like a phantom until they broken below you and can't stand up. Knowing in our souls that there's greatness in our damn blood. Yeah, now who the fuck bring the viciousness? Who in the underground getting down as sick as this? Chainsaw Symphony, 2 million listens, bitch. I'm what the overground bitches getting sickened with. Face mask up and the purpose ain't for your protection. Creeping with a Smith & Wesson vampire, no reflection. I don't want your money, bitch. I'm only here for soul collection. Lesson you like, then you hear me yelling. You will not decide my fate, no matter how high the stakes. I will not fall, no matter what the time or place, because I was not designed to break. Remain in control. I've been known to ride the waves and climb higher. The sky awaits me. I'll grind away this life till I find a way, and I'll try to my dying day. I'm unbreakable. You will not decide my fate, no matter how high the stakes. I will not fall, no matter what the time or place, because I was not designed to break. Remain in control. I've been known to ride the waves and climb higher. The sky awaits me. I'll grind away this life till I find a way, and I'll try to my dying day. I'm unbreakable. Another sleepless night. Another fight until the sun comes up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we've had in the works for a long time, As a matter of fact, this goes back to some of the watch parties I was doing, going back to last season. Illusion, I already see you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spawn Trap CDL podcast, or as we like to call it, the CODcast. This podcast is going to be solely based on Call of Duty League content. We'll be going over our expectations and realities for each team, and we have plenty of stuff to cover today. So joining me today is my co-host for the Spawn Trap in Joey Dunn. Joey, go ahead and say hi to the people.
What up, homies? Hope everyone's doing good.
So guys, obviously we have a lot to cover. We just got past Major 1. Congratulations to the Atlanta FaZe for winning Major 1. Yeah, it was a bad showing for some teams, a much better showing for others. So Joey, where did you want to start today?
I'm down to talk about the matches, honestly, if you want.
Yeah,
look
let's
at
do
the
that.
bracket and see how it played out.
I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, so it was a pretty crazy bracket, honestly. Going into the bracket, it was looking really good for a lot of teams and really bleak for a lot of other teams.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say this too. I do think that the way that the brackets are made, I think they need to redo them. I don't like how 1 faces 6 and all that.
Yeah, I can somewhat agree with that.
Yeah, like if you ask me, one should face two, three, four, five, six, blah blah, so on and so forth. And then once you get to losers bracket, you can start doing the crazy stuff.
Yeah. I think it's kind of weird how they have the losers bracket and then the winners bracket because it kind of takes away the aspect of playing the best to get the one seed
Yeah, it
because you're
kind of
still
does. It kind
playing
of
the
does. And
top of the
also
league.
another thing I don't like about the way we do tournaments now is you literally win 2 matches and you're in the grand final.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. But again, that is one of the things about playing better in the qualifiers, though. The better you play, the less you have to play to win a major.
That is true. That is true. Not to say we haven't seen some crazy losers brackets runs before, but yeah, it's definitely a crazy way we do the brackets here.
Yeah. I mean, it could always be better, but it could always obviously be way worse.
Yeah. Speaking of things being way worse, Optic obviously one of the big three, being being FaZe, Optic, and the Thieves. Optic did not exactly have a good showing this past major, whereas the other two of the big three were in the grand final.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, looking at these stats, going into the major, Optic was the number one seed overall. They had 20 map wins to 10 map losses.
I want to
So
know what the
it's
deal
pretty
is with
crazy.
Optic and why they can't seem to beat teams based out of Florida. What kind of boogeyman do they have that we
Dude,
can't seem to beat teams out of
yes.
Florida?
Dude, I have no idea. It started with one player, and it just seems like now it's the entire franchise.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. Like it started off with Dave Patty, and then it went to Vickle, and like I swear to God, dude, like the Optic boogeymen in Florida are some of the most punchable faces I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. But yeah, man, it was crazy. You know, Optic going in to the major, they were the number one seed, and then it literally as soon as the major started, it literally all fell apart. And I think that's due to Optic losing one of their main players in Pred.
Yeah, no, and luckily with Pred returning, I don't expect them to have a repeat of this. But also, if you go back to last season in the final two majors before champs, Optic was falling apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into any major, no one thought Optic had any chance at all. And then we go into champs, and they just absolutely make one of the most improbable runs that could have happened. No
Yeah,
one
no,
had
it was a
Optic
crazy
winning
season,
anything.
a crazy way to wrap it up last season. But then we get here and we go into Major One as the one seed, and we're thinking we're on top of the world just to get smacked twice and we're
Yeah.
done by
Yeah.
teams that we realistically should beat on paper.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the first matchup for Optic in winners round one for the major is obviously Miami Heretic. And Miami Heretic going into the major was 2-5. They were one of the lowest seeds. And somehow we lose, or Optic loses 2-3. It's absurd. Like it's almost unheard of that any top seed gets beat by a lower seed. It's like the NFL season,
Yeah, no,
like the Lions losing to Washington. It
yeah,
is
and
insane.
a little bit of self promotion, guys. We still do have technically one more episode of the Helmet Haven.
Did you hear that?
Just a little self plug there, but yeah.
Hey,
But
good
yeah,
podcast.
that
It's a good podcast.
like I said, guys, the first major of the season, a crazy one. Moving into Major 2 now. I guess we can go over the expectations we have for each team moving into this second major, which will be, of course, hosted by Optic Texas.
Oh, I mean, this is the thing with having, I don't even know, expectations for teams is it leaves a point for teams to disappoint you. Because, like I said, looking at it, Optic Texas is obviously one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, no,
Toronto Ultra
you know
were
what?
also
I 100%
6-1.
agree. Setting expectations does open the door for heartbreak, but at the same time, if you don't have expectations, then you don't really have goals, and if you don't have goals, then where's your team gonna go?
I mean, ultimately, that's very true. but it's just crazy, you know. Like you look at these expectations, everyone expected Atlanta FaZe to come out, be one of the top 2 teams in the league, and they start off the season 4-3. They're middle of the pack,
Yeah, no, it
absolutely
was a
getting
little
dog
weird
walked
for
by
Atlanta
everybody.
FaZe. I will say that, you know, going back to their Major 1 qualifiers, I was not that impressed. Granted, I'm never thoroughly impressed by Atlanta FaZe unless, you know, they're out there doing typical FaZe things. But, like, that's been the issue, is they're not doing typical FaZe things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, up until the actual LAN, I mean, Atlanta FaZe was getting dog walked by everybody. And then as soon as LAN hits, they're fucking 3-0ing everybody in existence. It is insane.
Now, here's my question to you. Do you think that Simp is going to be able to hit that Cold War high because we're back on a Black Ops title?
I mean, I don't know.
Because
I
I've
mean,
seen
he
people
can. He's
arguing that he
obviously-
will, and I've seen people arguing that he's not that good no more. He's not that guy no more.
I don't know. He can at any time. Simp is obviously one of the best SMGs in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
No matter what Call of
not
Duty
even in the
title
game.
it
I would
is.
say one of the best SMGs ever.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ever count him out. And then, I mean, it shows at LAN. I mean, they're 3-0 and fucking everybody. Like, they 3-0 Boston Breach, they 3-0 Toronto Ultra, and then they go to Winners Finals and beat Thieves 3-2. And then, I mean, it's just... You can never count out FaZe. For whatever reason, they could play absolutely horrible online, but as soon as LAN happens, I mean, they're almost unbeatable.
I don't know.
No one
Personally,
can
I
beat
think
them.
for me right now, my sort of expectations for FaZe is they're gonna take some blows online, but I fully expect them to be their dominant subs on LAN.
They're holding it at Summerville Arena.
Yeah, I mean, on LAN. I mean, clearly, so far this season, no one has beat them on LAN. But the issue is, for whatever reason, the online qualifiers, they just absolutely get dog walked. I don't know if it's ping playing a part into it, or I don't know what exactly is going on, but I mean, it is insane. I mean, they went
Maybe I'll do that.
4-3 to begin the season in qualifiers, which is the online qualifier.
Now, obviously, with FaZe doing well on LAN, they don't necessarily need to make a move, but if this online struggle does persist, does FaZe make a move? Is I guess the next question.
I mean, they almost can't. That's the bad thing about winning a major. Even if they think that they have to make a move, they can't because they just won. How dumb would they look if they make a move and then lose the next major?
I guess you have a point
You know-
there. Yeah,
you know.
no, it would, but you know, at the same time, like if your online struggles continue and you continue to get dog walked as you keep mentioning, like
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time before you land yourself in losers bracket.
Yeah, or not even qualifying. Honestly, I mean, that could always be. They could be the next Vegas Falcons or something. You know, you never know. Fuck. But it's just one of those things where, even on paper, this team is obviously one of the best teams in the league. Just looking at them on paper. And then, like I said, in qualifiers, they're 4-3, barely 500. But as soon as they go to LAN, they're 12-3. They didn't get a single loss. I mean, it is absurd. Like, they
Yeah, no,
only
it
lost
is
10
crazy
maps in
for
total.
Atlanta FaZe. It's a weird spot for Atlanta FaZe. I don't think they're used to having struggles ever. You know, they're used to just being
Yeah.
dominant. Like, yeah, they wouldn't go undefeated the entire season. They'd take a few licks here and there, but 4-3. That's definitely not Atlanta FaZe like.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Moving on
I mean-
to another team, I guess, would be the third of the big three, which would be the LA Thieves. They obviously, they went out this offseason and assembled what I would argue is a super team.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Probably one of the biggest super teams to ever be signed, honestly. No one expected it, to be honest with you. No one expected Cloud9 to drop Hydra, obviously. And then no one expected Scrap and Envoy to leave Toronto Ultra after the season they had.
But yeah, no, Nadeshot
was.
opened up the wallet and my God, he assembled himself
Yeah.
a god squad.
Absolutely, man. He fucking emptied his whole bank account into that Call of Duty team.
Yeah, no,
To say the
they've
least.
got a god squad out there in LA, and LAT is going to make a lot of noise this season. which is
Absolutely.
weird considering their struggles that they sort of had last season.
Discourse in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, even the struggles that they were having like this season. I mean, ultimately Scrap on online qualifying was doing absolutely nothing. I mean, there was one map that he went triple negative on in a hard point. He had like 6 kills, I believe, or 5 kills. It was something insane where you see a top AR prospect that was going to try to get signed by Optic that ends up going to Thieves to play with Hydra, and he just absolutely shits the bed almost the entire first part of the season.
Yeah, no, it was definitely weird seeing Scrappy struggle as much as he did. Scrappy, obviously, one of the most talented ARs we have in the league, if not ever. But yeah, no. But then, you know, obviously they go to LAN and they make the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, they went to winners finals, lost to FaZe, obviously, like I said, and then they dropped down to elimination finals and 3-0 the Miami Heretics to go back to the grand finals and play FaZe, go to a game 7 round 11 to ultimately lose just barely to Atlanta FaZe. They were so close to winning that first major
Yeah,
as
no,
a new
just
super team.
one round away from winning Major 1. But yeah, like we said, guys, Thieves are gonna make a lot of noise this season. Keep your eyes on these guys. These guys are gonna go crazy. Well, moving outside of the big three, I guess, that would bring us to the rest of the league. As I've been saying for years, it's usually a top three league, and then there's everybody else. Last year being FaZe, Optic, New York, and then maybe Ultra. This year being FaZe, Optic, Thieves, and then, you know, everybody else. Where do you think the rest of these teams really land, in your opinion?
I mean, most of them honestly don't stand a chance. I mean, the only team that honestly sticks out from like the big four are the Carolina Royal Ravens. And even at the beginning of the season, no one thought that this team was going to be good. I mean, even watching scrims, this team was doing awful. They were horrid. The only player that they had on the team that was good is Gwen, who was last year a rookie. And coming into this year, Gwen has kept his form. Gwen is arguably one of the better players in the league right now.
Oh, I would 100%
But then you have,
agree. Gwyn has 100% impressed me this season. He's only progressed from where he was last season, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, last year he single-handedly carried the team to whatever wins they got, and then this year he seems to be taking it, you know, even further and actually making this team, you know, having a chance to win a major. I mean, they come into the major 5-2. No one thought that they'd be a top 3 team in the league. And Gwen is top 8 in player KD in the entire league. I mean, no one's seen that coming at all.
Yeah, well, I guess if we go down to the bottom of the bracket, or the standings, I guess we're taking a look at the Vegas Falcons, which I guess is the team that no one really has expectations for this season.
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, they signed Clayster as the coach. And obviously, Clayster just retired. He obviously knows the game. He knows how to play the game. Arguably one of the best AR players to ever play the game. And he tries to take a team for, like the Vegas Falcons and tries to basically teach them how to play Call of Duty as professionals.
Now, what do you think the major problem with the Vegas Falcons is right now?
I mean, they just can't get rep time. I mean, if you look at any other team in the league, what team is going to want to play the Vegas Falcons and get anything substantial out of playing them?
Yeah, I mean, you make a very good point. I think a lot of this comes from the fact that, you know, with the Vegas Falcons being a team based out of the Middle East, sort of, the only mode they play out there is S&D, and it shows because that's the only mode that Vegas is even halfway good at.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I mean, even their S&D, which is obviously their best game mode, isn't even good enough to get them wins. I mean, they go 0-7 in qualifiers, and finishing the stats for the major, they're top 7 in win-loss percentage in S&D.
You know, it's bad for the Vegas Falcons, and honestly, I fully expect Clayster or whoever's in charge of running that team to want at least make some sort of move. I'm not necessarily going to say just blow it up, but if things continue, obviously some changes gotta be made.
Yeah, I mean, personally speaking, I feel like you almost have to blow it up. I mean, this is a team that has 8 players signed to their professional team. They don't have a challengers team. They literally have 8 players signed to their professional team. And only one of their players is honestly even worth mentioning. And even he's like not even worth mentioning. I mean, the thing is, they try to take an esport that's, you know, almost NA dominant, and they try to get an outreach to other countries, you know, like Spain. Spain basically runs the Miami Heretics. I mean, everyone on the team is Spanish almost. They all speak, you know.
Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree. I think it's great that the league is sort of trying to expand to other countries, considering that you know NA is not the only region that plays Call of Duty. But at the same time, if you're going to expand to these regions, at least give them teams that are halfway okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the thing is, if they want to expand, you need to get 2 players from the region that you think are the best of the best. And then you need to get 2 people that can actually teach these people and be in-game leaders, because coaches can't play the game for people.
I don't expect the Vegas Falcons to really win much of anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll win a single game.
I guess you brought them up earlier, and they sort of did make a sort of like a crazy run in the first major with the other international team being the Miami Heretics, making it all the way to the losers finals.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think one of the main talking points was exactly what I said. With the major being in Spain, I mean, most of the people on the team are from Spain, so it's kind of like that little hometown boost of, hey, you know, my family can be here, I can be around loved ones, I'm more accepted in this environment, you know. I'm not like the outcast.
I 100% agree. The crowd absolutely does play a part. It has been scientifically proven in my opinion that when you have family and friends in the crowd, you play 20% harder.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, playing in front of loved ones is obviously one of the most important things in any person's life, I feel like. You know, you want your loved ones to see the best thing that you can do, you know, in your life. Like, if you're good at something, you want people to see that and enjoy you being happy.
Yeah, obviously. So obviously, guys, now we've sort of established where the top 3 teams are, where the bottom teams are, and that sort of leaves just sort of like a dogfight in the middle of amongst the rest of these teams.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the middle of the pack is always going to be just who can get into the top portion of the league to make it into winner's bracket. And I mean, it could go to any team. No, like, there's no team in the league that is bad besides for the Vegas Falcons. And other than them, every other team can make a run for it. It's just, do they have the pieces and the mentality to make a run to a major win or even, you know, COD champs?
Hey, I mean, as long as you make the dance for COD champs, I mean, there's always a chance. I mean, look at what happened to Optic last season. You know, 0-2 bounce in major 4 just to, you know, bounce back and win champs in the absolute craziest way, which just goes to show, you know, you make the dance, you know, there's your chance.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, but also Optic was obviously one of the top 3 teams last year on paper. So most of these teams don't have the money to spend on, you know, the top 4 players in the league.
Yeah, that is also true. Now, I've also heard rumors swirling of teams being added next season. Obviously, as you know, the Envy was just repurchased off of Hex. So, you know, could we see the Dallas Empire returning?
Yeah, I've seen, you know, Hastro making moves. You know, he sold the team and now he's bought it back. And he's trying to get a spot in the league. Now, I don't know if he plans on trying to buy out someone's spot in the league or if the league might actually do an expansion. And honestly, I think having an expansion would be better than them just adding a different team with a
I
different name.
100% agree. I think this league needs to be more inclusive. It's the only if you ask any Call of Duty fan, they will tell you the only good thing that came out of the CDL era is we can drink at events now. But with the events being so exclusive, it's just I feel like we need to add more teams. I don't want to see a replacement team. I want to see an expansion team.
I know, I agree. I think, also another thing about an expansion team is it also gives another option to have a major somewhere else, I mean, it also can bring more fans into it, get more eyes onto it. I mean, the bigger the league, the more people that are going to talk about it, the more people are going to see it, the more people that are going to want to see it.
Yeah, no, it just sucks that the buy-in for a spot in the Call of Duty League is an absolutely ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, I don't think they have to do that anymore because of the lawsuit with Hex and Scump.
Yeah, no, that's another
as
thing
far
that
as I'm
drives me
aware.
crazy is especially after that lawsuit, why is the buy-in for the Call of Duty League so high?
Yeah, I don't know if they have to buy in anymore, though, honestly. I think they ended up refunding the $25 million to every team. But I don't 100% quote me, but from my understanding from that lawsuit was that every team got back their $25 million and they could get their own sponsors. But I'm not 100% sure on all of that because of the whole YouTube sponsorship. So
And you know what? In my opinion, it sounds very real. What you're mentioning, it sounds like that's probably what they did to escape. Optic forming their own league. Because if Optic formed their own league,
yeah,
absolutely no one would be watching the CDL.
I mean, I agree because if Optic's not in there, I mean, what's really driving the Call of Duty Pro scene?
Exactly.
Optic is almost the
granted,
only.
yes, you'd still have the Thieves and FaZe, but who's to say they wouldn't have gone to Optic's league?
Yeah, I mean, not even that, but I mean, Optic is one of the only teams that really does content to get the Call of Duty out there.
Yeah, no, I
I mean,
100% agree. Optic and sometimes FaZe. FaZe doesn't really do as much as Optic does, though.
Yeah. I mean, even Thieves and Ultra try to do it, but it's just kind of like copycat of what Optic does do.
Yeah, it's really just kind of more the same. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous the whole situation with the league. Like I said, I would much rather we go back to the CWL format where everyone can play. Just build yourself a name.
Yeah. It's just I don't know why teams don't do it. I don't know because what's going to hurt you from letting your players have a personality? Like if you look at it for what it is, I mean, in the grand finals of Major 1, you had two players that absolutely hate each other playing on both sides, You had Scrap on 100 Thieves and you had Draza on FaZe who have beef from last year. I mean,
I
even
wouldn't
on
even say
stage, they almost got into
Scrap
a
and
brawl.
Draza have beef. I would say that their girlfriends do.
Yeah, no, I mean, it obviously started with their girlfriends, but I mean, they both obviously said shit back and forth to each other. And clearly,
I'm just gonna throw
most of
this
it was
out
over the
there.
line.
I'm just gonna say this for the sake of saying it. Keeks is an absolute skank that can't play that can't play Call of Duty. Like, I'm sorry, I've played against Keeks and we absolutely dominated her. Like, my God, she's a skank and she's awful at COD.
That's crazy, bro. Name dropping's crazy.
Come at me, bro. Even bad publicity is good publicity when we're starting out.
That's crazy.
Bro, it's like when I had my 30 seconds of fame when I called out Simp after Major 1 from MW2.
Yeah.
You give me the time of day, I am going to take full advantage of it and, just become villain of the day.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey, it puts your name out there, gets you a little bit of clicks and stuff,
Yeah, no, I still find it crazy that anyone from the league gave me the time of day. But they did.
Hey, man.
And then, you know what? I also ended up making the process video when Optic won that major, so that was pretty dope.
Yeah, that was pretty cool seeing you in there, seeing you on screen in the CDL broadcast, and seeing you in
Yeah,
the
no,
video
dude,
from
dude.
Optic.
That's why I'm telling you, dude. Like, you just follow me when we get to the when we decide what major we're gonna do this year. We're gonna have a good ass time.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
another thing I want to throw out there for all of you that have not been to a CDL event. Go to a Call of Duty event. For the love of God, if you even have a remote interest in the competitive Call of Duty scene, go to a Call of Duty League event. They are so much fun. Just wanted to plug that out there for anyone that hasn't been to a major. And come whatever major we decide to do this year, I'll be finally introducing the demon season. So guys, keep your eyes peeled for that, because that'll be a prominent character on this podcast as well. All right,
but do you want to
yeah, I was about to
talk
say, where are
about
we gonna move to?
if you want to talk about the front runner for MVP, we could probably talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So, guys, front runners for MVP, and then obviously we'll probably assemble a team of 4 from our own opinion of players that played well in this most recent major. With it being 2 SMGs, a flex, an AR, or 2 ARs, whatever. We'll move. We'll go from there. So, Joey, who are you starting with for MVPs?
I mean, you have to say Shotzzy, right? I mean, arguably the best SMG in the game. His qualifying, I mean, he was absolutely slamming teams on online qualifiers. If you didn't, I mean, even adding in the LAN, I mean, he's still top 4 in KD. I mean, his Slayer ratings, top of the league, like top 3. I mean, you have to say Shotzzy, right?
Yeah, I
Or
100% would agree. You put Shotzi in there. I would think. I also do think that a lot of Optic struggles in this major came from the fact that Shotzi had to be entry frag for Hook.
yeah,
That's not to say that Optic wouldn't have won the thing, but like I do like, obviously we all expect better things out of Optic in majors, and with that sort of being the case with Shotzi and Hook, I think that's sort of where their struggles lied. I do think with Pred coming back, this will sort of allow Shotzi to be normal Shotzi, to allow him to just absolutely go rogue and just absolutely slay out.
yeah, no, I agree. I think, Pred going down with, the issues he had and ultimately leaving the team same day. I mean, no one knew who they were going to go out and get. Everyone suggested Hook, obviously, because of him playing with Shotzzy. But no one honestly expected Shotzzy to be the entry fragger for the team. You'd expect someone like Hook to just come in, be the entry frag, let Shotzzy do his thing. But no, I mean, that's like the selfless play that you want to see someone that you would want to be MVP do. He's willing to take a hit on his personal stats just to try to make the team win, to put another person in a more comfortable position.
Yeah, no, it's that kind of selflessness that you do want to see in a teammate. I will 100% agree. So first MVP, obviously, guys, you gotta give it to Shotzi. My next MVP, I gotta go and give it to Draza from the Atlanta FaZe. As much as I do not like him, he played an exceptional Major 1.
Yeah, going into quals, he wasn't playing the greatest. He had, I don't know if it was just trying to learn around his team or what it was. But playing qualifiers, he didn't have the best. But as soon as it got to LAN, I don't know what happened. They must have snorted a fuck ton of G Fuel or something, but they were absolutely cracked. I mean, between him and Celium in the major on LAN, I don't think there's any other ARs you can compare to them.
Yeah, no, there really isn't. I mean, you could argue that Dashy is also is maybe like a top AR in the league, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really those guys, and then the list goes on of everyone else.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so guys, that's obviously our second MVP. Joey, why don't you give us our third? Why don't you?
Uh, honestly, I was going to say simp for the obvious reasons, but I'm gonna try to do like a little, black horse, little superstition type thing here. I'm gonna go with Gwen.
Ooh, I was actually gonna say Gwen for my next one because I was thinking like that's a dark horse pick. You know, as we mentioned earlier on the show, guys, Gwen as a player has only grown from where he was last season, and I love seeing it. I think this kid's destined to do great things in this league.
Yeah, I mean, he could be the next simp. He could be the next Shotzi, the next Hydra. No, I mean, this kid is playing insane. I mean, he's playing on Carolina Royal Raven. No one thought the team would be good. Playing with the old men. I mean, playing with Slasher and TJ Halle. I mean, no one expected this
Yeah,
team
you
to be
know
good. And
those guys
then,
are grandpas in the scene.
yes, absolutely. And then Gwen comes in. I mean, he's just absolutely slamming everybody he plays against.
Yeah, no, Gwyn, absolutely exceptional player, a great player. And I like I said, guys, I really just want to see where he goes from here. I guess that brings us to our fourth and final MVP, and I'm gonna go with Hydra from the Thieves.
Yeah. I mean, another little kind of black horse call here, but Hydra is definitely the leader on that team. If he plays bad, the team loses. If he plays decent to good, they absolutely slam everybody.
Yeah, no,
It's
and
kind of one of those
it's like
things
you said,
where,
that entire team is based around Hydra and how how
yeah,
well he does. And I think that's sort of why Nadeshot sort of got Hydra from New York because he saw, okay, if I have a guy that does well, my team is gonna do well, especially if I surround him with superstar talent.
oh yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, last year Hydra was, top 2 SMGs in the game. If he was a free agent, everyone had to try to get him. The only team that wouldn't try to get him would have been Optic, and that's because they had Pred and Shotzi, arguably the two other people better than Hydra.
So
So
yeah,
every other
guys,
team
there
should have
you
been
go.
trying to
There
get
you go.
Hydra.
That's our those are our MVPs for the first major. Moving on into these major two qualifiers, which of course will be starting here very soon in a couple of days. Um, are there any players that you think are on thin ice?
Uh, I mean, besides for the Falcons,
Well, yeah, the
um,
entire team for the Falcons is on thin ice, really.
I'd almost have to say Dashy, honestly. I mean, you almost have to say Dashy,
Yeah, and you know what? It
right?
kind of pains me to say that, but Dashi is definitely starting to go a little bit downhill. At least from where he was last season. Last season, he was arguably the best player on Optic and sort of what made that team, function. This
Yeah.
season, he just kind of looks a little bit lost in the fold. It's not normal to see that out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, he's arguably, besides for, I mean, I guess maybe Kenny too. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you need both AR players to be on the same page to play well, right? But I mean, between Dashy and Kenny, they're just not performing. It's just one of those things where I don't know if they were trying to overcompensate for Pred being let go to bring in Hook, or I don't know what the issue was, but both of those ARs were playing so bad at LAN. I mean, they were going almost double negative. Like, it was unheard of. Kenny is obviously the in-game leader, so he obviously is more of the mentality and strategy type person. But Dashy, I mean, Dashy's always been one of the top players in the league, always had the absolute beams, and always had one of the top KDs. And he still has a decent KD, don't get me wrong, but he's just not performing how he did last year at the champs.
You know, and I 100% agree. It feels weird saying these things about guys that are playing for Optic, but as you mentioned, Kenny and Dashi very much not on the same page. And with Kenny being the IGL, I don't know that this team like I almost think they're in sort of like the same position as Atlanta FaZe. Like I don't think they can make a move.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I mean, they did make a move because they dropped Hook to bring back Pred. I mean, that's the only move that they really can make. I mean, you can't drop too many pieces and expect the team to do good
Yeah,
in the
no,
middle of
you're
the
just gonna
season.
completely, blow any team chemistry that this team, still has from last season.
Yeah, agree.
So yeah, guys,
Um,
there you guys have it. It's really weird saying these things about Optic, but obviously with the less than impressive major one run, some things needed to be said.
yeah, I mean, losing 2 matches in a row to bottom teams is pretty insane when you're the 1 seed and we're slamming everybody.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely unheard of. I guess from there, why don't we move on into the point standings?
Yes, let me pull them up real quick. Close them a second ago. Okay, so, and this is the crazy thing. Even though Optic didn't perform well at LAN, they're still number 1 in points, tied with Ultra for 60 points in the league. Boston Breach and the LA Thieves, as well as the Carolina Royal Ravens, are 3, 4, and 5 with 50 points. And then you have Atlanta FaZe and the Vancouver Surge with 40 points. And then the rest of the league is absolutely horrid.
Yeah, no, it's crazy seeing Atlanta FaZe outside of the top three. Hell, top
Yeah,
two.
absolutely. Yes. Especially after winning a major. I don't know how they do the point
Well, when
system. I
like
don't
you
know if it
said,
wasn't
they were
added
getting
yet
dog walked
or
in online play.
yeah. I mean, they were barely 500
Yeah,
on
no,
the
that'll
qualifiers.
definitely take a hit. That'll definitely take a hit to the points in the standings. But yeah, no, like I said, I'm not expecting Atlanta FaZe to finish outside of the top three. Hell, I'd probably argue they're gonna finish first or second in the points by the time the season ends. As the episode name would imply, this is a long season, the longest season we've ever had in Call of Duty League history.
I mean, it's going to be a grueler season, I feel like.
This season's going to be a marathon, not a sprint.
And I think that's like one of the good things for these teams. I mean, even the middle of the pack teams, it gives them time to adjust to the game, figure out some strats, see what works, see what doesn't work, and possibly make a run.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I do think that these longer seasons, one, are good for these, middle of the pack teams to, sort of solidify their gameplay, make their plea that they should be, at champs. And then on top of that, I think the longer season, it just gets more eyes onto the Call of Duty League scene.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the good thing about this year too is that they're traveling outside of the United States to have these majors.
Yeah, no, as we saw, Major One being held in Spain.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I'm never going to complain about an overseas major because that just means that COD for that weekend will start at an earlier time for us.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Like I
But
made
yeah,
that
I mean,
mistake on Thursday of Major One, and I'm like, oh right, they're overseas. They started way early.
yeah, I mean, they started in the morning time. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm never gonna complain about that though. I love Call of Duty all day, every day. Give me some Call of Duty on. So yeah, that really about covers the point standings. Do we have anything else to cover?
I mean, if you want, we can talk about the first 3 matchups starting this Friday.
Yeah, why not? Why not? We can also give some predictions for this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it.
Yeah,
So we have
let me pull up
Friday,
the Call of Duty
February
League
14th
site here.
Yeah, go ahead. I have it pulled up.
The schedule here. So yeah, obviously this weekend will be starting in 2 days here on Valentine's Day on February 14th.
Arguably one of the best matchups of the weekend, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it, and Valentine's Day is about to be loaded with some decent matchups.
If not the best matchup.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So starting off with the Friday schedule, at 2 p.m. we'll be kicking things off with the Thieves and Royal Ravens. This one's a tough one to call, actually, because like you said, Gwyn has been doing big things for Carolina. At the same time, though, I feel like the Thieves are just kind of too loaded. I'm gonna go Thieves 3-2 in this series.
I'm sorry, your mic was cutting out.
Okay, sorry about that. Hang on. All right, yeah. So there we go. So yeah,
There we go.
We'll be
Now I
starting
can
things
hear
off with the Thieves and Royal Ravens, and as good as Gwyn has been doing in Carolina and how much big things he's been doing for them, I feel like the Thieves are just a bit too loaded for Carolina to handle. I'm gonna go Thieves 3-2 in this opening matchup. Uh-oh. You're deafened. And muted. There we
Sorry
go.
about that.
Yeah, no, there we go. So yeah,
Sorry
I'm going
about
Thieves
that.
3-2 over Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I have. I would probably say 3-2 as well.
Yeah, no, it like I said, guys, as good as Carolina has looked this season, I think the Thieves are just a bit too loaded. So we're both going 3-2 Thieves. Moving on from there, we have the Vegas Falcons and Boston Breach. Now, this one is sort of I'm expecting to see a lot of sloppy cod in this one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sloppy on one team, but I think Boston Breach are going to win this one 3-0, honestly.
Yeah, no, I kind of expect Breach to just kind of dominate. I don't like anything that I've seen out of Vegas so far. Like you said, they really just need to drop like at least half the team and bring in some guys with experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Moving on from there, we go to two teams that are actually tied in the standings with points right now, being FaZe and Surge. Now, like, part of me wants to go with Vancouver here, just due to the struggles that FaZe has been having online. But at the same time, FaZe just won a major. Everything good?
There we go. Now I can hear you. I don't know what happens, but your mic keeps cutting out where I can't hear anything.
Hang on, hang on. Let me check something. All right, hopefully that fixes it.
What?
All right, so as I was saying, we go from there to two teams that are tied in the standings for in points with Surge and FaZe, and as much as I want to give it to Surge for FaZe's online struggles, like we can't just forget that FaZe just won a major.
Yeah, I mean 100%. I mean, even though the Surge have a decent team, I still think that FaZe win it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go FaZe 3-1 here.
It's just.
I don't think that FaZe is necessarily going to 3-0 the Surge, but I can see a 3-1 being a more realistic outcome.
Yeah, I agree. I have it 3-1 as well. But I mean, you never know what could happen with that matchup with it being an online qualifier.
Yeah, 100% agree. Going from there, we move on to Super Saturday, February 15th. We'll be starting things off with the Gorilla Mates and Boston Breach. Personally, I kind of like the Gorilla Mates. I think they're kind of a solid team this season. I'm going to go LAG here.
Team, I don't think anyone expected them to perform as bad as they have. I could see them winning against Boston Breach, but it'd be obviously another bang out map.
Yeah, no,
They'd have to absolutely come out
I would probably
smoking,
go
guns
Gorilla
blazing.
Mates 3-2, but like I do like what I've seen out of those guys.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go Boston 3-2, honestly. I just don't think that LAG has enough yet.
Okay, so that's our first disagreement.
I don't think they figured
Moving
it
on
out.
from there, we go to the Miami Heretics and Minnesota Rocker, going on at 3:30. I'm gonna go Miami here based off of the kind of crazy losers bracket run that they were able to go on. I mean, I just feel like momentum is sort of, on the Heretic side right now.
Yeah. I mean, you can't bet against Miami after the run they had.
So yeah, I'm gonna go Miami probably 3-2.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, 3-2 sounds good, but I think 3-1. Honestly, I don't think Minnesota has anything to
So
give them that
going on
Miami
from
can't
there,
handle.
we have the good old rivalry: Atlanta FaZe and Optic Texas. I hate going against my boys here, and as much as we do kind of own FaZe every time we play them, like, I can't just let go of our Major 1 struggles.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but Pred is going to be his first match back.
Yeah, no, you know what? I as much as I would love to see Optic pull off the win here and, continue the narrative of we dominate FaZe, I'm going to go FaZe 3-2.
I'm going to go FaZe 3-1, honestly. I think with Pred's first match back, he's going to have those jitters, and Shotzi and him aren't going to play that well. And I think, the SMG duo of FaZe are going to absolutely slam.
Yeah, that's valid points. So, final match of Super Saturday, we will be closing things out with Cloud9 New York and Toronto Ultra. This one's a hard one to call.
I agree. I mean, Cloud9 is bottom of the league, but they're definitely not a bad team.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard to call Cloud9 a bad team. I just feel like I feel like Cloud9 struggles is just like the team hasn't sort of clicked yet.
I agree. I don't think they have much chemistry, honestly.
I'm gonna go Ultra. I'm gonna go Ultra 3-2.
Yeah, I agree. 3-2, maybe even 3-1. Depends on the adjustments Cloud9 makes.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's probably a good prediction. Moving on from there, we go to Sunday, and we will be starting off with one of the most one-sided matchups we could possibly have. Vegas Falcons and LA Thieves. I'm going Thieves 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if anyone needs to predict this game. I mean, I got a LA Thieves fucking 75-0.
Yeah, no, I'm fully expecting a 3-0 from the Thieves over Vegas. The Vegas Falcons are just horrid. Moving on from there, we go to Carolina and Toronto. I'm gonna go with Carolina in this one, 3-1. Just based off of their sort of progress that Gwyn has had, and how that team has just sort of been working well.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina's obviously, for whatever reason, one of the best teams in the league, obviously. I'm going to give it 3-2 to Carolina, though. I think it's going to be a little closer than what we're thinking.
Okay. We got two more matchups on that Sunday. We got Vancouver Surge and Cloud9 New York. This one's another tough one to call because these two teams have both had their respective struggles.
Agreed. I don't know if Vancouver is going to beat Cloud9. I think Cloud9 wins at 3-1 personally.
I'm going to go Surge 3-2. Just based off of the point standings, the fact that they're sort of tied with Atlanta FaZe, granted that is sort of attributed to FaZe's online struggles, but I like when you can match pace with Atlanta FaZe in anything, I think you're in a pretty good spot. So I'm gonna go Surge 3-2. Moving on from there, we will close things out this weekend with Optic Texas and Minnesota Rocker. And this one I actually do like our chances in. I'm going to go Optic 3-2.
I think your mic cut out again.
Okay, hang on. All right, that brings us to our closing matchup for Sunday this week, which will be Optic Texas and Minnesota Rocker. I kind of like our boys' chances in this one. I'm gonna go Optic 3-2.
Yeah, I don't even give Minnesota Rocker anything. I say 3-0. One of the most lopsided rivalries in the league.
Yeah, no, I will 100% agree. It's pretty lopsided. Like when you haven't beaten a team in years, is it even a rivalry?
yeah, no, that's not. It's just you getting your ass whipped and you hate them.
I mean, just ask Atlanta FaZe. I mean, when you just lose and lose and lose to a team, is it really a rivalry or is that just ownership?
Yeah, exactly. Part owners of both organizations. It's crazy.
For real. But yeah, anything else that we gotta cover before we really sign off? I think we've had a pretty solid stand-up, bang-up episode for episode 1.
Yeah, definitely a first episode. I think we did pretty good. Got an hour little podcast going.
You know, we're just under an hour, and you know the closing music will probably take us just over an hour. So yeah, I feel like that's a solid first show.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so guys, thank you for coming to chill with us. Thank you for listening to us ramble on about an esport that really care about. You know, we're one of the minorities left.
Yeah, truth.
Yeah, no one cares about us, but still, we are going to try to bring you guys a show each week. Unless we have more bye weeks in the season, obviously with no action, we won't really have anything to cover. But yeah. We've just crossed Major 1. We're going into Major 2 in Texas. This is the first week. It's gonna be I feel like this stage is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking it will be too. Honestly, gonna be a good stage, hopefully.
Yeah, no, and then like I said, after this stage, I do kind of fully expect that we're gonna be seeing a lot of teams make a lot of moves.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't perform in this stage,
once we're past Major 2, like these episodes, they're just gonna get longer and longer.
Agreed.
But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in to the first episode of the Spawn Trap Podcast. It's been a fun one. We will see you guys next week. When we will be covering the action that just went down this coming weekend, and then we will also be covering the upcoming action that will be going down next weekend. So yeah, guys, it's been a fun one. We're gonna sign off, and yeah, guys, we hope to see you next week.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, and as always, go Green Wall.
This shit's for all of my people who push it to the extreme. We never making excuses and stay pursuing our dreams. We stay evolving and clawing until we break to the top. No matter what we involve in, just know we ain't gonna stop. And yeah, curses we working until our bodies collapse, and we unearth a new person with all this honor intact. And now it's time for us to level up and get it, son. They think because we hella buzz, we ain't getting up when it's getting rough. Yeah, just know when everything gets difficult, that most of these people live in fold and that hope turns invisible. So go and get them lights up on your Facebook, cause your life sucks. I'll be here with my nights up, but working on this mic, son. This ain't a gimmick, this is Fight Club. And y'all ain't built like us, cause we stay hyped up until the night comes. Throw lefts and rights till that fight's done. You will not decide my fate, no matter how high the stakes. I will not fall, no matter what the time or place, because I was not designed to break. Remain in control. I've been known to ride the waves and climb higher. The sky awaits me. I'll grind away this life till I find a way, and I'll try to my dying day. I'm unbreakable. Now we break through the gates. We ain't taking the scraps anymore. We taking the plate. We take impossible goals and we make them into our fate. Through dedication for laying haters, we lay them to waste and say this is the anthem. So keep your hands up. Find an opening and strike them like a phantom until they broken below you and can't stand up, knowing in our souls that there's greatness in our damn blood. Yeah, now who the fuck bring the viciousness? Who in the underground getting down as sick as this? Chainsaw Symphony, 2 million listens, bitch. I'm what the overground bitches getting sickened with. Face mask up and the purpose ain't for your protection. Creeping with a Smith & Wesson vampire, no reflection. I don't want your money, bitch, I'm only here for soul collection. Lesson you like then you hear me yelling. You will not decide my fate, no matter how high the stakes. I will not fall, no matter what the time or place be.